I always told myself I was going to go back. And so I got the bright idea to ride across the country as if that would somehow make things better.
You can get down to the beach that way, or we can also go right down this trail through the shrubs.
Kind of funny, her being by herself in a small town like this. She's a nice lady, isn't she?
Gosh, I haven't done this in ages.
Why not?
I mean, is this for real? Because I'm getting extremely excited.
You're the first person I've ever told about my daughter. I haven't seen her in 30 years.
What if I went out there with you?
What would I say to her?
Hello?
Hi.
Molly, can you go inside, sweetie?
So maybe next time you call first.
You got me coming around again. Much to my surprise, you got me coming.
What if I'm the same person?
Just don't be. I came down here so I could have a better life.
So now you're just determined to keep this place going come hell or high water.
He's come a long way, across the country, to find you.
You don't look the way I remember you.
Time plays tricks, huh? I'm trying really hard.
I can't imagine what it's been like for you. I'd like you to stay with me.
I'd have to know I was moving towards something, not away from it.
You look awful.
Thanks.
Hi.
Sorry about that. I got
No
caught
worries.
up after I didn't know what happened. So
I'm at my mom's cabin. I have weird internet, so I wasn't sure if it was my computer because yesterday I couldn't. It's so good to see your face.
same here.
I haven't seen you in like over
Hold
a
on.
year.
What's that? Wait 1 second. Let me just get one other thing set up here, and then we'll start. One audio issue.
Are you in New York?
Yeah. Well, I'm not in the city.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, I'm. There we go. Let me just make sure the audio, everything's set up correctly.
Houston says hi.
Where is he?
He's just standing over there.
Just come listen. He can come over.
They.
Let me just get this.
How's
Hey,
my?
buddy. How's everybody? How you doing?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good.
How's your pandemic been?
Just peachy.
Oh, good, good.
I left the city for a while. I mean, I don't know when I'm going to go back, if or when I'm going to go back.
Where are you now?
You know, I'm in the Hudson Valley.
Okay, yeah.
Nice. Hudson
We're-
Valley's beautiful.
We got the same
Okay.
idea. We don't know when we're going back, but we're planning on going back.
Oh, it looks like a fantastic place you're in now. Look at all that wood.
No, this is her mom's place that she built like every little thing by herself. It's really quite amazing.
That's remarkable. That's fantastic, though. Look at oh my God, with the mountain. Where?
And wait, let's show him Jake, how cute Jake is. Jake, say hi. Say hi, Jake. Best dog. Best dog in the world.
That's awesome. Wait, so where is the is it in this is it are you in Colorado or?
This is Sundance, Utah.
Oh, you're in Utah?
Yeah, have you been to Sundance? I mean, I know you've been to the film festival, but Sundance.
No, I actually don't. I don't typically go because, I don't really have anybody kind of underwriting me. So
Yeah, it's funny. I've never had a film at the Sundance Film Festival, which is just irritating. I am so angry about it sometimes, very bitter about it. Because my mom lives here. It would be so fun. But
you've gone because you're
I've gone like one time, and I've actually done the Institute, which is a lot more fun. The Sundance Institute. Like I've just as an actor kind of done it, and that was great because that's here at Sundance, not at Park City. Which I think Sundance is much prettier than Park City.
Right. Yeah, no. I mean, it's interesting. I just sort of haven't jumped because unless I'm going to be kind of like, I don't want to just go there and then not have
a reason. That's how I feel.
Yeah, not get in and to things, and I just assume hold off on it. Whereas,
That's
you know,
how I
like
feel.
I've
I
always
just
known people in Austin, so if I go to South by, you know, I know I have a place to stay usually.
yeah.
People I know there, you know what I mean? And it's warm.
Yes, and it's exactly, and it's just not as quite. I mean, it's definitely crowded, but I think the time that I did go to Sundance, I was like, oh, this isn't even that fun. Like, I'm sure if you have a
Oh,
film there,
really?
I didn't think it was very fun. I think it was good to see people, but it was just so crazy, and
Yeah.
I
It's a
think I also
scene,
felt
in
like
other
a
words.
loser because I didn't have a movie there, and people were like, "Oh, what are you in here?" And I was like, "I don't have a movie here. My boyfriend's movie's
You don't
here."
need
But
that. Well, I'm actually going to South by next week
really,
in my living room.
oh right, yeah, right. I was like, "Oh wait, you're actually going?" Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
no, there's no. It's all online this year.
Yeah, we're getting close. I feel like by let's see, maybe by like Toronto time, will there be a Toronto?
Well, I mean, there will. I don't know what it's going to look like. Um, I don't know how they will deal with vaccine versus unvaccinated people. If
Yeah.
they're maybe it'll be a requirement that you have to have a vaccine if you're going to go physically to the festival. But then again, how do they prove that?
Yeah, well, when we went to Tanzania a few years ago, a couple years ago, we had to prove that we had a yellow fever vaccine. Because if you don't get one and then you go to Tanzania, like the United States won't let you back, apparently. So they give you a little vaccine card. And Houston had already had the yellow fever vaccine because he lived there. But I had to get it, and it was like a couple $100. So now I have the yellow fever vaccine because they made me do it. But we've
Right.
already had COVID. We had it like a year ago. We got it really early, and I gave it to my mom. So we came to Utah.
You're so loving, a daughter.
I
And
know. I gave it to my mom
selfless and
and my sister.
selfless.
And Houston, who smokes like Marlboro Reds all day, didn't have any symptoms at all. But he had it, but he had no symptoms.
So if you're listening out there, take up smoking, because cigarette smoking, because clearly it builds your immune system very well. So we're
Definitely.
gonna plug cigarette smoking, and any kind of carcinogens are recommended.
I know, really. I think it did. I think his lungs had so much tar in them that the virus like couldn't penetrate the lungs.
Is
That's
that
my
what it is?
theory.
Scientist, you're a scientist, or do you just play one on television?
Well, I play one enough that I actually have a lot of information stored from all
I
those
bet.
science auditions. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I know. I'm just wondering, are people like know to keep their? Do you get on your? You know how if you have 2 shots, I mean, you don't need any ID or anything when you go into these places. They're trying to make it as like completely, obviously,
Easy for
yeah,
everyone.
but and not in any way any hint of discrimination or anything like that. So if you don't have like ID, it doesn't matter. You go, you just have to fill out a few questions, and then
That's
you
a
get the
really good
card.
point. Like, how are they going to verify that you've had one?
Yeah, so I don't know. That's me. It'll be on loyal, or you know,
I
like just
guess.
based on trust or something, which is silly. Can't do that really.
Trust.
I don't. So I don't know. I don't know, to answer your question. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. I mean, I think as a country, if we get to like a herd immunity level, 75 or whatever, 80%
Mhm.
people vaccinated, then I guess they'll just decide we're safe to go. You know. So, and then I don't know what the rules will be. They may just have masks, and you sit in the theater. I don't know how.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know.
theaters. So Houston and I mean, people probably like shame me for saying this, but like Houston and I have been going to theaters. We've been going to movies because
Okay.
we hadn't been for like about a year, and then we
Mhm.
realized we were in North Carolina. We've mostly been in North Carolina and Utah this whole time, and we realized like, oh, like the movie theater is open here. AMC is open, and we really wanted to see some movies, and nobody's there. So it's really sad because nobody's there, but also nobody's there. So it actually feels, I mean,
Safe and yet sad,
and
because how are they going to maintain? Yeah.
Yes, it was definitely sad. Like there were two people in the
Right.
theater when we saw Nomadland on a Friday
Well,
night.
some of the art houses in New York are starting to open now, so
That's true. That's true.
we'll see what limited capacity, obviously. But
Yeah. Wow. Crazy.
yeah,
It was weird though. We went in there and I was like, oh my God, this has been at least a year. I think the last movie I had seen was The Irishman, meaning in the theater, was in Cobble Hill.
oh
At the Cobble
really?
Hill Film. That was like
The
the last
Cobble Hill
film. And then
Cinema.
Ethan and
So
I
you
went.
saw
So
The
that what did we
Irishman
see?
at the Cobble Hill Cinema. Did they ever renovate that theater?
No, it's not.
Such to see a such a long movie in that place, but
Yeah, no, it's not very comfortable.
yeah,
I remember
I
falling asleep in that theater once. We went to see Star Wars, and I'm not into like space stuff, which is weird. I just am not into Star Wars. And Houston really wanted to see it, so we went and saw Star Wars, and I fell asleep. I like put the chairs down, and I fell asleep.
it's very
in the
possible
theater.
that the last movie I saw there was Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, see, I haven't seen that because like future. Well, it's not really space, but
Yeah, it's science fiction.
it's yeah. That's just not my favorite.
Yeah.
That's genre.
Um, so speaking of which, well, maybe not science fiction, but like I don't know, genre films. Like, so my son, who's, a teenager, he's turning 17 soon, but when we were quarantined earlier last year around this time, maybe a little later than this, we started watching Gotham together on TV. And,
Oh yeah,
so one of the stars of that is, of course, your co-star and
yeah.
some other time than now.
Sometime.
Some other, not
It's so
now,
funny 'cause
later
Houston-
time is better for
Houston and
me.
I exactly. We keep doing. We're like sometime other than now, and Houston was like,
Some-
it's long, and we can't
Sometime other
remember
than,
the
yeah,
title.
but there's so many movies that now use just a sentence for their title. Like, I don't know if you've noticed that trend, but there's a lot of movies that are just called, like I'm not around right now, call me later. I don't know, they've gotten very lazy with their title, so it's just like I could write down a bunch of
I'm not
examples.
around right now. Call
What's
me
the one
later.
that Ruffalo, he's up for playing two brothers. That's an example. I can't remember the title because that's my problem. I can't ever remember titles
That are that long. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah. No,
Or-
I know it can be a challenge. It can be a
Yeah.
challenge.
right. Anyway, so well, and then sometimes like Gus Van Sant's last movie was he won't get far on foot or something like that. But I'm distracted. The point I brought it up to Gotham was because Donald Lowe gives on that.
Yes.
So I let my son. So I noticed that you were in it too. So between those two factors, I thought I did want to cover this film because on the podcast, because my son I know would be really geeked
Aw, that's so
because he's a
cute.
big fan of Gotham.
Yeah, no, I would run into the Gotham people because they were at Steiner Stages and we were shooting Blind Spot. So we would kind of share the same little like lunch space. So I would see them in like their cool costumes, and it was a cool show. I mean, he was
they
there
shot
for,
in Brooklyn,
I mean,
right?
it was what, like 6 seasons, that show. That was
It's really long. I haven't seen. I mean, my son and I keep talking about going back. My son saw the whole thing, and then he was getting me to watch. But like, I can do 1 or 2 episodes at a time. But my God, so many episodes.
So many episodes.
And they shot a lot of that in Brooklyn. You'd see them like Dumbo scenes all over the place. And
yeah, no, it was I had never met Donald, but I'd kind of like seen him around because their stage was right next to the blind spot stage. So I would kind of like see them. Mostly I would just see like extras walking around in the coolest costumes, and like makeup, and I was like, man, that looks like a really fun show to be on. But then we met doing this I guess he had wrapped Gotham was over.
Oh yeah.
And I played his daughter. It was pretty cool. I wish it had gone. It was actually really fun. I had a great time. I thought it was really fun, and it was beautiful in Greenport, Long Island. I was like, oh man, this is too short of a process. Like TV is nice because you get to do it for a while. Hopefully, like if you're on a series, you get to kind of play a role for a while, and it's kind of more satisfying, especially when you like the people you're working with, which Kate and Donald are pretty amazing people. So
Yeah, I kind of liked it for a refreshing change of pace. It was kind of back to basics storytelling, like about just human beings telling a familiar but still kind of an important type of emotional experience, a story.
Totally. Yeah.
And um and it was good like he's kind of getting back to his roots too as an actor. Like, I remember when the first time I saw Donald it might have been the Tao of Steve, but I don't
Mhm.
know. I just remember I used to see him in these indies, and so that was kind of interesting,
Mhm.
you know. And then I thought that Kate was really just lovely in that.
I
And
know.
then
She's so talented and
yeah,
entertaining and just yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. She's pretty amazing. I didn't really have any I actually I think I had one scene with her. Um
that's it.
but
Yeah,
I got to like hang out with her a little bit here and there, which was
right.
nice.
So, like one, in other words, kind of exchange scene where
Yeah.
she's sort of telling you, that she doesn't blame you for whatever you're feeling as a daughter who's abandoned by her father when but he did make this trip. you know,
He did make this trip across the country on a
just to see
motorcycle.
you and to meet
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And then I saw him. No, I really liked it. And I also felt like I do so many kind of weird indies that you know, I'll like post about them or something, and members of my family who are, older, maybe more conservative taste in movies, whatever that means, just
Mhm.
basic taste in, I don't know, that sounds insulting, but like I don't usually tell them about all the indie stuff that I do because I just think it might be a little too weird for them. So I felt like this was one of those where
Oh,
it was like, oh,
the
like
more
this is
I
really
see.
cool because people, my aunts in Florida will really love this film,
Right,
and
right, right.
it's not,
Yeah,
it's like user friendly, I think.
that's true. Well, that's what I was getting at. I mean, there's sort of a this um it's a kind of even though it deals with obviously complicated relationships and pain and these things, on the other hand, it is a feel good movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
And
has
you
that.
have little doubt that it's not gonna that it's not going to have a happy ending. That makes sense. I mean, you kind of figure this is not going to end on a dark note.
Yeah, that's and that's what my dad texted me because, well, he struggles with like streaming because he's just not technology, he just doesn't know how to do
Understood.
it
Yeah.
exactly. But I was like, Dad, you'll like this. I think you'll like this. And he goes, does it have a happy ending? Like that was his,
Litmus.
yeah, like he does not want to watch something that is going to bump him out like by the end. And I was like, it
Oh,
does have a positive ending. I wouldn't call it necessarily like happy, but it's certainly not a bad end. It's not a sad ending. You're they're going to get through everything together.
yeah.
And
Well, if I don't know if my daughter was in something, I don't think I would care too much.
well,
It's like, but
yeah, my dad is kind of funny because he's a Jehovah's Witness, so he's very
okay.
religious. So if something's like rated R, he's not going to watch it. Like he's not going to watch a show like Banshee, and I would never tell him to because it's just like that is, 5 minutes into it, he'd be
Where
like, I cannot handle this.
yeah,
Um,
where you're killing like the body count on that show is pretty high.
it's pretty high. It's pretty high. Yeah, there's a lot of like sex too. That's another thing he asked me. He goes, are there a
Are you
lot of
fully?
sex scenes in this? And I was like, no, there's a lot of sex scenes in this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's maybe like one, not really. I mean, there's not really a sex.
It's the
Is there a
guy
sex
with
scene in
it's
this?
the
I
guy
don't
with
think
the
so.
dad bod and the
Yeah.
pretty cafe owner, and yeah. But I don't think there's nothing in there. Yeah, this is a family film. There's no doubt about it.
It's a family film. Yeah.
Um, what did you mention just a minute ago? Is starting to think about. Made me think about. Oh man, that's the problem. Is I got COVID brain. I guess still. I didn't get it, so I can't even claim that. But definitely too much time alone.
But
Um,
each time in the house alone.
yeah. Have you been able to during the last year do any kind of auditioning though, or any?
Yeah,
Is it
no. For the
That's good.
first 6 months, it was like pretty quiet. So
Yeah.
maybe like one a month. And then I'd kind of follow up, and I didn't even know if that thing ended up, like the things that I was auditioning for ended up shooting. I had no, it was just like, I don't know who's shooting these things, but recently, like starting in maybe January, started auditioning, and for TV, a lot of TV stuff.
Uh-huh.
And some really good stuff too. I was kind of, so that was promising. I haven't booked anything yet, which is like sad because I have had quite a few auditions. So I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? But I think it's nice to know that there's stuff going on. There's stuff shooting, and somebody's working. It's not me, but somebody's working, and that gives me hope that it will be me in not too long, hopefully.
Right.
Trying to stay positive about it.
Right. The Trieste merry-go-round will come around to the right spot again, and you'll be
I hope so.
plucked from there. And
it's always weird. I feel like this business is like high school boys. Like they really like you more when you're unavailable to them. Like when you already are dating like the quarterback of the football team, everybody wants to date you in high school, I guess, or like you're the popular girl or something. Like this is I feel like the only thing that's been for sure in this business, like in my years of doing this, is that people always want to hire me when I'm working and I'm unavailable and I can't work. And I'm like, I would love to do this, but I cannot do it because I'm already on this other show and they will not let me do it, even though I have time to do it. That happens a lot. And then if you're coming off something like, oh, I just ended this thing. But it seems like when you're not working, it's very hard. Like it's very hard.
Right. Well, that is, as you mentioned, it's similar to kind of like dating, that kind of experience. That's classic for guys. They're usually not attractive until they've already got a girlfriend, and then all
that's true too. I'm blaming it on like men, but you're absolutely right. I think women find men.
But maybe it just goes to the human, and then also you're visible. I mean, I saw that woman on that show.
That's true.
She's
I guess
perfect. And then but she's on that show and they work like crazy hours. So
yeah, no, that's definitely true. You're right. It works both ways. I feel like I've had but I will work again. I'm being optimistic. I will.
But in the meantime, people can check out Some Other Time Than Now, and
sometime other than now,
and watch your lovely personage on that in that film. And are you able to at least work on your craft, or or you get too restless to focus on that kind of, I mean, I guess it's a time to maybe work on, yourself physically, whether it's staying in shape or maybe other aspects of being an actor, or
That's a good question.
It's a lot of work.
I probably should be doing that. I'm not. I know that there's a lot of like, online acting classes right now where they're doing Zoom acting classes. That just didn't really
appeal to
me, but I should. That you're making me realize like I really should, especially because like what if I did get like some amazing job and it started in 2 weeks from now? I'd be very rusty. I mean, auditioning is pretty good practice too, though. Like when you're auditioning, you have to like do things really fast and memorize lines really fast and make choices really fast. So that ends up kind of getting your wheels turning. But but it's weird. I haven't actually like acted with an actor in like over a year. I don't think. Yeah. Except for we're in North Carolina. We've been there. So Houston was making political ads before, during the election. He was making political
ads. Yeah, that's right. I forgot he has that
really good
with what's his name?
Lee Hirsch.
Lee, that's right.
Yeah, and they're local voices, and it's really great. And so I was volunteering full time with New Hanover Democratic Party in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Unbelievable.
So that was kind of a nice thing to do.
You got close.
Yeah, that was well, you know what? Actually, we did flip that county. Wilmington did go flip, and it hasn't for like 40 years. So that was positive, but also like the local races, like they didn't really. It didn't feel like a win. Like it did go Biden and Cal Cunningham, but it didn't go the state races, like in House races we didn't win those. So but that was nice to do that, and to just, so I feel like even though that wasn't a job, like it was, if I still got to do something in Wilmington.
Sure. Oh no, of course. And what does the do the ads that they were working on were just for North Carolina, this particular
Houston's ads, what he does that I think is really interesting is he goes to swing states and swing counties.
Oh, okay, very good. That's
right. And he didn't actually do any in North Carolina, but he finds people who he was finding like regretful Trump voters So people who had voted in 2016 and regretted it and were like, this isn't, and then explaining why they were changing their minds and voting Democrat
And
for
then
like
they
the
would be
first time.
cast.
Some of them voted Democrat for the first time.
Yeah.
And explaining why they were doing that. And so they're really classy. They're not like angry ads, they're not those like annoying angry ads that you see all the time during election cycles.
Well, what I've been seeing a lot are, ads from different organizations that are just showing hypocritical behavior, which is endless. So there's a lot to choose from.
There's a lot to choose from.
It's like there's a seamlessly, a seemingly endless amount of people showing hypocrisy, politicians, especially, the Republican, what used to be known as a party. I don't know what they are now, but QAnon.
What a weird year, but no, it's.
Yeah, but I would totally, I don't know how I contribute. I would totally volunteer for that organization, making those spots. And that to me is truly God's work.
I mean, he was working on those. He started over a year ago working on those and trying to raise money to make them. Cause of course, it's like, but then he started making them remotely, like through like this, like Zoom ads, they used to send a camera crew in to shoot these things, but then they figured, okay, we can just do this remotely.
Right.
And then, it hasn't been, I think it's been like kind of, I feel almost guilty saying this, but because we got it so early, I feel like it's kind of been a nice year in a weird way. Like, obviously I would love to work and that's depressing, not working.
Right.
And
right.
Well, and being like nomadic and not having like a home base, like we've definitely kind of moved around a lot. But
well, if you're living in the right part of the country, and if you're hopefully have some means and resources, it's been a gift. I mean, for some people, I mean, I also found it incredibly, I guess it was an opportunity to recalibrate. I did move. I was home in New York. My dad passed away. So at the beginning of all this craziness, and
my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's awful.
Thanks. Yeah.
Not COVID.
Yeah. It was part. It's on his death certificate as a cause of death. But he was. I think he was going to pass away anyway. I don't want to, go too far on field here. But he was in bed. He just had given up a lot. It's a long story, but he that was sort of like the last straw. Yeah, he got COVID. So, but he was in. It was just a very unfortunate circumstances. The end of his life. Yeah, but at the same time, as that was, thank you. We're actually going to finally have on his 1-year death anniversary, which is called in the Yid biz. I'm not religious, but in the Jew biz,
okay.
the art site, which is Hebrew, it's like means the anniversary of somebody's death, and there's usually a candle that you light in memory of your loved one, or that, every year on the death anniversary. So, but on his first one, we're going to finally do a memorial on Zoom, because I just sort of, at the time, I thought, well, in a couple months,
sure,
by the end of the summer, maybe we'll just do it then. And that didn't happen. And at the same time, it was, they were talking about in the early part of this, like how in the following fall, and winter, which is sort of ending now, there would be another huge wave, and potentially during the flu season, we'd have another quarantine. Well, of course, the first wave never really ended per se.
Right.
And I just said to my ex, my kid's mom, I said, she's been in LA most of the time. I said, I can't do this in New York anymore. I'm just like, I burnt out already anyway.
Wow.
And I was just holding on another couple of years till my son goes off to college or whatever. And I just said, look, I'm moving. So I wasn't sure exactly where, but this area made the most sense because I have people up here. There's arts and culture and good politics. It's like that area, this area, the Hudson Valley. There's people I know and I can relate to, and things going on, and music and theater and film, and so it
Yeah.
was just, and I was familiar with the area, really familiar. So I just found a place, and this is it.
Nice.
So, and
That's
I'm
great.
really couldn't be happier.
I thought about that too. Houston, I thought about just going somewhere upstate, because then you're kind of, when things do start to kind of happen again, you can still go to New York and you're just not stuck in New York
Right. Yeah.
paying ridiculous rent for like a tiny apartment.
Yeah. Well, instead of paying nothing for a tiny apartment, so
Well, yeah. So
you know,
wait, where are
I
you?
gotta
Where are
move.
you?
What?
Where are you in the Hudson Valley?
Oh, I'm like right between Rhinebeck and Hudson. So, and
Oh,
across the river
perfect.
from Kingston and Saugerties and Woodstock.
Oh,
So
perfect.
and then if you go the other direction, you got the Berkshires about a half hour away. So it's really the
Amazing.
perfect spot. It's really perfect. I mean,
Good.
it's
I'm glad
beautiful.
you're there.
There's so many charming little towns, and I
Yeah.
mean,
No, I know. I know.
I was driving around with this lady friend, and just she's showing me around because there's still lots I haven't seen. So much because I don't know all the
Yeah.
places. I don't know all the places in such detail yet. I know like certain towns, but that's it. And yeah, so it's a great area. So I recommend this specific area if you guys do decide to do something like that, because there really is a lot going on up here. Typically, not this last
No,
year.
I heard that it's actually gotten like Kingston has just completely
Oh yeah, I
like
go there. I mean,
exploded.
that's minutes
Like
away.
there's
So
tons of people there now, right? Like all the people from Brooklyn moved to Kingston.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of folks moved up. I don't, part of the thing is I don't know who they are. I mean, I don't really know, so I
'Cause, yeah,
don't
you're still not
know
seeing
how to
people.
identify people because I don't know that. I only know a handful of people.
Yeah.
But I was thinking originally trying to move over to around that area. I'm still thinking about it. I think I'm living like I took a place last minute, kind of under duress because the place I was hoping would work out didn't. So I just sort of ended up finding this place on Craigslist, and it's actually owned by Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what I was trying to think of before when you brought. Remember, I kind of had a senior moment. You
Oh,
mentioned your
interesting.
dad, so I was, yeah. The property is owned by Jehovah's. They're very nice people.
No, definitely. They own a lot of property
Yeah,
in New York. And
yeah.
what is the town they're because they moved that huge
They've got a
building.
bunch of spots over in Ulster County near New
That's right.
Paltz.
Yeah, I went and checked
Because
it out.
my summer camp is now the Clock Tower Farm 3. So
Clock Tower? You mean the Watchtower Farm?
Watchtower, excuse me,
Watchtower. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Watchtower
No.
3, Watchtower Farm 3, which is was the former site of my summer camp when I was a kid.
Oh,
It's now,
wow.
I was over there and I took a look at. Anyway, but those folks are really friendly people, and they are
Definitely.
as it's not like some people would think it's culty. It's not. They're
No,
just,
it's not at all. No, it's
do they
great.
proselytize? Maybe to some degree, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not, trying to scam people or anything like that.
No,
They're good
not at
people.
all. I mean, I
Yeah,
get along great
and
with my dad and his friends. Like they're
yeah,
super cool. They're really outdoorsy. His friends, we like go hiking and skiing and stuff. Like it's
right,
not,
yeah,
but they don't obviously
yeah.
watch rated R movies. But so
They're not watching.
so I just don't
They're not
tell
watching
anybody.
Banshee.
They're not watching.
Let's put it that way. Unless they're doing it privately, like on the sly, just trying to see their
Right.
friends' daughters' work and stuff. But yeah, so I'm going to. Well, I will proselytize if I think you guys are even considering it. I would love more friends up here, especially you guys. That'd be awesome.
I think, yeah,
So
that sounds
beautiful.
nice. We bought a car when we moved to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Eventually, like we actually bought it in Brooklyn. It was a cheap little cute car, tiny little stick shift Mitsubishi.
Oh, a stick shift?
Mirage. Yeah, yeah. I had to relearn how to drive a stick shift. It was kind of scary at first.
Yeah.
And
I learned on a
yeah,
stick. I could
want to
still
keep
drive
it. I don't want to get rid of it. I like this new life of like having a car
Yeah,
and
it's very civilized.
and going grocery shopping and putting your groceries in the car, not having to walk.
Yeah, something that like
I-
99% of the country takes for granted.
right.
We're like,
I've
so
lived in New York
exotic.
so long. It's like it's such a liberating feeling having a car. It's just so it's like wow,
It is.
my life is really easy, a lot easier
Yeah.
with a car.
Oh, it's freedom.
Yeah, it's freedom. Exactly. I know. So I
I know
thought
I'm in the
maybe
market.
upstate would be better than Brooklyn, because where the hell would I park it in Brooklyn? I'm not
No,
spending
you
$100
as long as
parking
you're home
petrol.
every day, I guess you could, most places in Brooklyn, you just have to be on top of it.
You just have
Like,
to move it. So I did
yeah.
have a car once when I lived in Queens, and I must have gotten like $800 in parking tickets because of just forgetting to move it, or there's like
Oh yeah, you're 5 minutes
lines.
late, or yeah, no, or you didn't misread a sign, or yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well, trust me, I know, and yeah, no, I had a vehicle here. Actually, it was my dad's, and then yeah, I had to. Unfortunately, like I wasn't paying. I wasn't going to pay his lease, so at a certain point it ran out. I had to return the car, and now
Mm.
I'm in this weird, and I'm on a farm area, like stretch for a number of miles in either direction before you hit a city or town.
Okay.
So I'm really like not in a good spot for me right now because I'm without a car. Although I have like friends coming over in a little while. I can deliver. I can get Instacart. I can,
Mhm.
I've got means of and I
Mm.
go for these really long walks every other day. I do a 6 mile walk
Wow.
in the farm roads. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Amazing.
And you see the
That's
mountains, and
wild.
it's just very, it's well, like you've got even more dramatic view than mine, but
It's pretty
mine
dramatic.
aren't snow capped or anything. Um, but I'm gonna have a vehicle soon, so that'll be shortly. So I'll be back
Good.
to my freedom.
And then are you going back to Brooklyn at all? Like, are you doing that,
I
or
don't
is
see
there
the
any
point, right?
reason
I don't
to?
even see the
There's
point
like
of
no
thinking
reason
about
to,
it.
right? It's not like anything's happening in person.
No, and like you said before, I can get down there pretty quick. I'm actually pretty close to Amtrak. I'm close. I can drive down in 2 hours. Um, so and I will be doing that because my kid is going to be back in Brooklyn, and with his
Mm,
mom and everything. It's a matter of time. So I'll be going down there probably all the time to get him and to hang out with him, or to bring him back
gotcha.
up here. Yeah, it's just the way it's going to be.
Hmm.
So, and my mom is still there. She's in a nursing home in Queens, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Nursing home in New York. So
Well,
you
it's
haven't seen
great.
her. You haven't. Have you been
No, I
able? Have you
have. I
seen her?
have. Not really recently, but I did. No, went for a while there. We were able to bring, as long as you could bring a negative COVID test within a week of,
You could see
you could
them.
set up an appointment and see her under particular protocols. But I did get to see her. It's just that they kept having outbreaks with the staff. So, and then
Oh,
they'd have to
wow.
close it down for a period of time. So, and
And
now I
then
don't
what
have
would
a
they do
car.
when they have the outbreaks? Everybody just stayed in their room, like your mom. I mean, how would
That's
they
pretty
deal with
much what
that?
they did. They did, yeah, for a long. It's terrible. My mom is, but that's another story. I've already depressed everybody enough with the story about my dad. To go into my mom is even maybe worse.
Oh my
Her state of
gosh.
her state is not good. But she got COVID too, but she kicked its butt like right away. She is strong, medically
Wow. So
or
she's had it. Wow.
early on, last spring. And
Wow.
I mean, everybody was getting it in those nursing homes.
Yeah, that's yeah.
There was like, because they're all going off to the people work are going home, and also like the patients go to the
Yeah.
hospital, and a lot of patients go to the hospital all the time, and then they come back.
And then they
So,
get it in the hospital too,
or
right?
wherever. Yeah, it's just you come in
Right.
contact with too much.
Gosh. Ugh.
Mm. Oh, it's a crazy, crazy time. I wonder what it'll be like in, let's say a year or two, looking back, how we'll kind
I
of
know.
feel
I
about it,
know.
like
I think
what
people
the
will
after
still wear
effects
masks.
psychological.
I have this theory that people are just gonna we're just gonna wear masks like during flu season now. Because I think my dad, like, well, he has stage 4 lung cancer. He's like healthy with lung cancer, which is weird. Like
Wow.
he's on this amazing treatment and it's like really working. He's really responding to it. But
Right.
I think he's gonna be a person that just like always wears a mask, because if he gets anything, like he's high risk of getting really sick. So yeah, I think people are like used to it and gonna. I bet like 20% of the population is like still gonna wear masks during flu season.
Oh, well, you're probably right. And he was vaccinated probably right away.
No, he wasn't, because in Utah they were vaccinating like the 70
Oh,
plus crowd, and he's 66. So even though he has
so
stage 4,
young.
he actually got vaccinated today because they just opened it up
Oh,
to 60 plus. I
Right.
guess. I think it was 70 plus for the first like month or two. Now it's 55
Wow.
plus 60.
So,
Something like that.
gosh, you
So
have
yeah,
such a young father. Your parents are so
I think he got the Johnson and Johnson.
one
I think
time,
that's the
one and done.
no, he got the Moderna. No, he got the
Okay.
one that's the 2 shots. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody I know is getting it. I mean, and I just not eligible.
Yeah, I think it's easier in New York. Like I have a lot of friends in New York who've had it that are young. Is it easier to get it there?
Where? I don't know. Tell me where I'm supposed to go, because I don't know
I
where to
know,
go.
right?
But I think, what they're finding is that at the end of the day, if you just, there's leftover stuff that they're going to toss if they don't, so they say, you can show up and
Get on a wait list for it or
just
something.
for the day, that kind of thing. I don't know
Gotcha.
if there's a wait list, but anyway, a lot of people I know are getting it. But the people I know are spread out now, like everybody. But everybody I know, like almost everybody I know, it's insane. I mean, just about
Yeah.
everybody. So
Well,
once I have the car again, I think I'll probably get it right away, because I'll be able to drive wherever they have it and just do it. I don't mind driving an hour or two just to get a shot. I'll do it. But if it means
totally.
I can relax a little bit more.
Yeah. No, in Utah, it's interesting because everybody I know has had COVID. So here we're kind of like, I mean, we had a dinner party the other night because literally every single person at the
As
table
antibodies.
had COVID. I mean, we had it like a year ago, so maybe our immunity is kind of,
Yeah.
wearing thin. I don't know, but we've certainly not like. I mean, I've been on so many planes. We went to South Africa in December. Houston was like, no. Well, this was before the news broke of the crazy.
I can edit out.
Well, you don't have to because we
Okay.
didn't really know. I mean, I didn't think it was a great idea to go, but he's producing films there and stuff, so he really
Really?
kind of needed to go. He's trying to get some like two movies that would take place in like Kenya and South Africa.
Mhm.
And Lee Hirsch is there, his like partner with Local Voices, and so we went, and then right as we're in the airport, the news is breaking of the South African variant. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like this is crazy. We're not going to get let back into the country. Like this is going to be insane. We shouldn't go. Like we should go back. But at that point, we were 2 hours away. We'd already like checked in practically for our flight. We're in the airport. We're at JFK. So we went. You're on a plane for like 2 days to get there with a bunch of Americans, that,
Yeah.
surely people have, there's somebody on the plane that's like, got it, who knows? And then on the way back, you're on the plane for
Right.
a couple days, like 30 hours or something like that.
Insane.
And we isolated when we got back and we got tested. I got tested like 2 or 3 times.
Right. Makes sense.
And we didn't get it. Like I'm all the airports, all of the transportation, all of the, we didn't, I just feel like I trust our immunity that we have some left.
Right. Well,
And
I've not heard of cases of people getting, even if I mean, the antibodies supposedly don't last forever. They only last for so much time, but I don't think I've heard of a case, not anecdotally, that somebody got it again.
no, it's
So they
really
may just
rare,
be.
and we kind of knew that, so we felt like we weren't super nervous about getting it again necessarily, like ourselves getting it. We were just nervous about, oh well, what if we got it and gave it to somebody else and we didn't, that's obviously the fear. But as soon as we got back, we isolated and got tested a bunch and we didn't have it. So I just felt after that, I was like, okay, if we didn't get it coming back from Africa on a plane for 2 days, like in various airports, and if we didn't get it
Totally.
then,
Right.
like we obviously must have some kind of like immunity. And my
Yeah.
mom has been in Utah where it was so bad here for a while. I mean, I know almost every my grandma's friends in their 80s got it. I mean, we have so many friends who got it and are like we're just fine. And I know way more people that had it in Utah than in North Carolina or New York, for example. So yeah, we had a dinner party the other night and like 9 out of 10 people had it. So we figured, oh, this is like, we're good to do this, I think. Are you judging me?
No, I'm not.
I mean,
I'm jealous, if anything.
well, also half of them had it like within the last 2 months. So,
Right. I understand.
they're,
Yeah.
so knock on wood.
No, I was just invited. My aunt and in New Jersey, they're talking about doing a thing for Passover, like a Seder with all the family. But there's lots of people who have not gotten it and not been vaccinated, or a
Yeah.
number of people, I should say. So I'm not going. But I said, yeah, look, like a couple months later in the spring, when really it's sprung out in the backyard, you want to let's have a barbecue. I'll be there totally. And then
Yes.
in the fall with subsequent holidays, we'll all be vaccinated. Let's absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like things are going to be normal sooner than we think they're going to be.
Yeah.
I think, but I don't want to jinx anything.
Not
Because
gonna-
once people stop going to the hospital, once like the higher risk community is like vaccinated, it's like, if it circulates amongst people like us, then
yeah,
it's like we're not going to the hospital.
probably not.
Probably not.
Right.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
No,
But
probably not. Yeah. Yeah. We're us invincible types.
anyway, I don't know. I just mean the the folks like my dad are now finally getting the vaccine. So I think once the high
Yeah.
risk people
I
get
will
it.
hit record now. We should start. I'm just kidding.
I know we didn't really talk about the movie much, but it was nice to catch
That's
up.
okay. It's all right. I'm not all, I did my bit.
Well,
And
you
Donald was great. He was really a sweet guy actually. And he said, "Oh, I wish I was still shooting Gotham so your son could come on the set." He was really nice.
Oh, he's so nice. I know. I really liked playing his daughter. He was fun. He brought his guitar to set and would play guitar, and he was always like going on these like spiels about things. It was so cute. And he was funny. He was really funny. Yeah, it's kind of the sad thing about indie films is they're so short. They're like 25-ish days,
Right.
and then you're done, and you're like, oh well, we just made friends, and now I'm like never gonna see you again.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I know that's an experience. It used to be at least a little longer, but you'd still have that same. If anything, it would be harder because you were that more of a tight knit group, and you had formed this bond because you were together for maybe 2 months or 2 or 3 months. Now it's like you're together for 3 weeks, but it's a very obviously intense experience, and you do get close to people.
Yeah. You make little families everywhere. I have like little. I feel like everything I've ever done is I don't think I've ever worked with anybody like hated, it's like little families.
Jeff Marslet.
Select families.
Come on.
Well, I haven't seen him in ages, but even though it's funny because like that was such an intense process. But yeah, it's like I worked with him last fall, actually.
Oh, you did the newer film that he's.
Yeah, the Boarding House Reach.
Uh-huh.
That was super cool. That was really cool. You should see some of the. Actually maybe he hasn't put them. He sent me some images from it. He does that, animation.
Yeah. No, and I'm dying to get him back on for that.
Yeah, that was fun. That's going to be a cool project.
Yeah. All right.
I guess I'll need to come visit you when I come back to New York. Now that we have a car, we'll like come visit you in Hudson.
Yeah, I'm just I'm probably a little closer to. Oh, for God's sake! There's my ex-wife now. All of a sudden, everybody wants a piece of me. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, yeah, I'm just like near Bard College and north of Rhinebeck. It's a great area. It's so beautiful. I mean, everywhere you go, it's spectacular. And the spring is going to be. When I got here at the very beginning of the summer, I was just like, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. So I'm very excited about the coming spring and summer.
Yeah.
It's
going to be. Yeah. There's just Houston. Should we move upstate? I think he wants to go back to Brooklyn. But then we were there over the summer, and it was just not that.
But that'll change too. It'll get busy there again. But it doesn't mean you can't have
it was really crowded by the end of summer. By like August and September, it got really crowded. Like it felt normal density, like normal New York to me, except for every single person was outside. So it felt even crazier.
No, I was there, a number of times, and it seemed back to sort of normal by the end of by fall or something.
Yeah.
Well, you should still make trips up here, regardless whether or not you do, because it's
definitely
it's a great place.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I'll make more of a point of staying in touch with you guys.
It's good to see you.
Same here.
Good to see you. Enjoy your 6-mile walk.
Oh, I did it yesterday. So today I'm off. Try to do it again tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm off. I'm not going to ski. I said I was going to ski. I'm not going to ski today. I'm going to.
Oh, you aren't. That's right.
I'm going to do practical things. Yeah. Anyway.
Sounds delightful.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Okay.
All my love.
Bye.
All right, take care. Bye, Houston.
Bye, Houston. Say bye.
I just heard a voice, but what a great looking place. All right,
It's
man.
so cool. My mom renovated it with like recycled wood. That's why it looks
Unbelievable.
all this cool
A lot of
texture
recycled
everywhere.
wood. Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty stunning. My best to everybody.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.